Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, she's falling in love with me. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who I've been coaching for, I guess, a couple of months. I think I've done 1 or 2 phone sessions with him and done a bunch of email coaching. And I think, if I remember right, when he first came to me, he was trying to get an ex back of his. He made a lot of mistakes. I remember when I first started coaching, he was able to start hooking up with her again. But she was also seeing another guy, and what he did that was beautiful was that he started dating other women. He opened himself up to some other possibilities and didn't just limit himself to potentially getting back with the ex who, I mean, at the end of the day, it was somebody that didn't work out with the first time around. And most of the times when you get an ex back, you're never going to stay with them long term, because the bottom line is at some point in the relationship, and this is where everybody tends to bullshit themselves, is at some point in the relationship, you stop putting your best foot forward. You realize that they weren't what you really wanted long term in a relationship. However, you weren't too unhappy or unhappy enough to do anything about it. And then a lot of people just continue on that way, but since they're no longer putting their best foot forward, in a lot of cases, like with guys, they stop making the effort, they stop courting her properly, stop dating her properly, and then it's not until, like one of the emails that I answered the other day in a video was a situation where a lot of times when we'll stay with a guy, as they're losing respect for him, as he's doing one thing after another to totally turn her off. And then she gets to the point where whether either A, she lines up somebody new, or B, she gets to the point where she just doesn't care for you anymore. And therefore, when she finally does end the relationship, because she's lost all respect and love that she had for you, when she finally does break up, that's why you see, like, the next day or within a couple of weeks, she's all over some other dude. It's because she stayed with the guy until she's literally had no feelings for him. And so usually those guys are the ones that are always shocked, like, oh my God, my girl left me, or she broke up with me. And it's not that they were really that into the relationship to begin with. It's just their egos were bruised because they weren't the ones that actually ended the relationship. In other words, the relationship didn't end on their terms. But it's really a beautiful thing when you're patient and you apply the things that I teach, and you have this kind of an opportunity happen, because you just never know when that next great love of your life is going to literally drop right in, and they just fit like a glove. That's what's beautiful about life. And it's not just intimate relationships. It's just every relationship that you have with other people. If you own a business and you're looking to expand your business, it's like the right person always seems to show up. The right key people or the right hire seems to show up at exactly the right time. Or if you're getting involved in a training program, you want to train for a triathlon, and then all of a sudden you start meeting people that are training for the same thing that you are. Now you got people that can push and encourage you along with them. Or you move to a new city and you meet somebody new and you strike up a friendship and you start going out and having a hell of a time together. And you become great friends. You become friends for life. Or you become best friends. And then you become friends with somebody that turns out he's got a hot sister. And you end up hooking up with a hot sister. It's like attracts like. And that's why it's so important to have a life and a lifestyle that you really love and you really enjoy and you have a passion for, because you'll go out there and you'll live a great life and you'll become great at being you. Because becoming great at being you, becoming the best version of yourself that you can be, where you're happiest and your life is filled up with activities of people and circumstances that you really love and you have a passion for, you're going to be smiling a lot more and you're going to be a lot happier. And then you meet somebody just in the course of going about your life doing things that you really love, and guess what? They have the same kind of love and the same kind of passion for things that you have. And it's very easy to find common ground with somebody like that, as opposed to just meeting some random person on the street. And you can definitely have a great connection with somebody like that, but the likelihood that you encounter somebody just going about your daily life who is exactly what you're looking for, that's a lot more likely to go smooth and to be effortless, as opposed to you saying, hey, I'm going to go ask out 100 women a day at the mall. You might get lucky right off your first try, or your 50th. You just never know. That's why it's so important to not take yourself out of the game, because it's like one of the clients I was talking to earlier today. I attended it, like this one guy, I literally was friends with this woman for 4 or 5 years. And they only started dating this past about a year and a half ago. And he's really been pushing the thing along, and she's just been kind of going along with it and not really into it because he's over pursued. And he's just ignoring the fact that she's really not that into him, nor has she ever really been into him. And yet years of his life are gone where he devoted 100% of his energy into somebody that really was not reciprocating on the same level that he was. The key is to love yourself enough and to respect yourself enough and say, you know what? This person is not making the effort. And if they're not making the effort, this is not going to work long term anyways. And I deserve to be with somebody who really likes me and who really wants to make the effort. And that's the place that you need to come from. That's the way you need to think. Because when someone starts to cross those boundaries, or they start to be disrespectful or take you for granted or not be appreciative of your time, well, you'll push back. You say, when you stand up to them and you don't let them walk all over you, which you may have been willing to do in the past just because you wanted people to like you. So I got the one email I'm going to go through here with you. It's not a real long one, but it's really great because he brings up some of the things that he's encountering here. And at the end of the day, if you're following them, this is ultimately what you want to get to. You want to get to a place where you're dating somebody who you really love and you're in love with. Now, it's fun. I mean, I like sex just as much as the next dude. But at the end of the day, there's having sex and there's making love. Sex is great. Two people have great chemistry, but making love where you really, not only are you physically into the other person's body, but you're into who they are. You're making love to the essence of their being. You love everything about them. That is completely different than just meeting somebody and being physically attracted and having a great night of sex or a great couple of weeks of sex. It really doesn't matter. This is your journey. This is all about you and what you want and where you want to go with your life and creating a life and lifestyle that is to your liking and to your choosing. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we're going to go ahead and get in this guy's email. It says, "Falling in love is beautiful. It is a man's highest honor to receive the emotional heart and love of his woman. It should be protected, appreciated, and nurtured. It's something to be happy about, but not something that should define you. It should be a blessing in your life, not a burden. All intimate relationships have their beginnings as casual love affairs that simply not only never ended, but continued to expand under the constant and consistent efforts of all involved. Always make sure that the people who you fall in love with are reciprocating through their actions, not just their words. Being in love and being loved by someone who is in love with you is a gift that makes life even better than it already was. If you are single, seek to make your life great so you can attract someone who also has a great life who you can share it with, and expand your greatness together." So let's go ahead and jump into his email. He says, "Dear Corey," he says, "firstly, I want to thank you for everything that you provide, your videos, your coaching, because honestly, I don't think I would have winded up in the situation I am in now without it, and for that I am grateful." Well, you know what? I'm grateful for you for the fact that you're actually learning the stuff that I teach and you're applying it. Because not only does it change your life, but it's changing the life of the woman that you're involved with, and everybody else that's going to be around you and going to encounter you in your life. You not only have the ability to change yourself and your woman, but everybody that you encounter, because now you're a good example of what everybody should aspire to be. He says, "I've been following your videos and I've read your book about 7 times. He says, "Yeah, I got 8 more reads to go." Well, 7 times is pretty good. You're halfway there, dude. That's awesome. Good fucking job. I had several guys that I talked to today, and one of them has been following me for a fucking year. A year, and he hasn't read the book yet. And another one I talked to, 6 months he's been following me. I watch your videos religiously every day. Well, have you read the book? "Oh, well, no, I got to get around to that," or "you haven't meaning to order that," and then they start explaining how things are going sideways in their life, and it's like, you don't know the fundamentals, and you're fucking up. It's such a shame. You spend all this time watching my videos, but yet you don't learn the fundamentals, and you continue to make mistakes. He says, "I've been trying to apply the principles that you teach as much as possible, and I do fuck up here and there, and I can see your face looking at me already to slap me, but it is what it is." Well, the bottom line is you're way further along. I mean, this guy's been following me for a matter of months, and I got, and he's read the book almost 8 times. Yet one guy's a year, and another guy's 6 months. It's like, come on, guys. Do yourselves, you got to participate in your own rescue. You got to act like you want this. You got to act like you want your life to get better. He says, so I've been dating this woman for about 2 months now, and Valentine's Day, ironically, was the 2-month mark. I pretty much went above and beyond with decorating my apartment, making her dinner. Listen to what he does. This is great because you don't have to spend a shitload of money doing this to have a really special evening at your place. He says, I went pretty much above and beyond decorating my apartment, making her dinner, dancing, a shower with candles, normal first date stuff. He's being facetious, obviously. But it's cool because this is Valentine's Day, so you're spending Valentine's with a woman who's special to you, and obviously you're special to her because you're spending the day together. So you're doing these extra little things, and they aren't really costing you a ton of money. You're doing them, why? Because you care. That's the important thing about any relationship. You have to care genuinely, sincerely care about the well-being and the welfare of the other human being. And you show through your actions that you do, because a guy who cares will do these little things. He'll decorate his apartment. He'll get candles. He'll have them in the shower. He'll have rose petals around. He'll have strawberries. He'll have whipped cream. He'll have champagne. He'll have chilled glasses in the freezer ready to go. He says, anyway, towards the end of the night, she writes me a little note and a heart and passes it to me. I open it up, and inside it said that she is falling in love with me. That's fucking sweet. Because you don't know what she's going to send over to you. It's beautiful, dude. Good fucking job. He says, before I even said my response, I almost said, that fucker Corey was right. It's kind of funny. You're guys right in the middle of like, holy shit, this girl's falling in love. This is great. And you're thinking about me. It's just you're seeing me in the background going. He says, I responded in such to her as I do have those feelings towards her. I did like a month ago, but I waited for her to express it to me first. It's like a game of poker. And if you'd have expressed it in a month, because remember, us guys are visual creatures, so if you'd have expressed these feelings a month ago, it would have been too soon. But this is normal, this is natural, because feminine energy is all about bonding and connecting. And so she could see it in your face, she could tell that you really care, but women know. Women know when you're in love with them. They can look you right in the fucking eye, and they can tell. They can feel it. They literally can feel it. I've had several of my girlfriends over the years just say, I can feel it. They literally could tell, they could feel my love. Just by looking at me. And women are very intuitive like this. So even though you might not have told her, she could tell. But it shows that you have self-control also, that you're not just drooling all over her and puking your feelings all over her either. He says, I have to say I'm pretty fucking happy about it, but it doesn't define me. That's a smart way to look at it. It's a gift. It's a blessing. It's a value added to your life, if you will. He says, I'm in the process of tinkering around with business ideas, and I have a purpose in life to help people and animals, and ironically, she has similar goals. Isn't it amazing how that just happens? You know what you want, you go looking for it, and the person that you connect the most with has similar goals and similar values to you. This is why I say go do things you really love, because you'll meet other like-minded people. He says, it's going to be an interesting ride. Seriously, brother, thank you. Thank you for opening my eyes to this. He says, women are amazing when you start to understand them. Dude, good fucking job, brother. Very good job. I'm very proud of you. What I would say is good about this guy versus other guys that I coach is that he's applying the things that I teach. He takes it on board and he goes and he applies it diligently. And even though he wanted his ex back, when he ended up hooking up with her for a period of time, the bottom line is he also realized, holy shit, I have fucking choices. I have a lot of value to offer to anybody's life in addition to my intimate relationships. And you have to see yourself in that light. Because you got to see yourself as having value. Because when you see yourself as having value and as a prize and as a catch, then you're going to make sure that the other person is making the effort as well to make you feel loved and to value you like you feel you are valued yourself. Remember, no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. Definitely something to think about. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.